G'day everyone, welcome to another edition of Chris Rankin's Music Crush. Just another video to show what I've been pulling out of the racks recently. Just going back a whole mix. Certainly a few that were inspired to me by definitely one of my favourite YouTube channels, that's for sure. I'm going to talk about a couple of my real favourites today, and I'll put links in there as well. Also, I've said before, but Friday and Saturday night, a little bit of Sunday, whenever I'm not working on that time period, I try to squeeze in as many new releases. As I'm sure you're all aware, Friday is generally the big day where most new release albums come out, so I get through as many of the brand new metal albums as I can. Soon I'll start being able to show some of the physicals. Obviously, living in Perth, Australia, a lot of those things when you order them, when they come out, they can take quite a while, especially at the moment as well. So Ablaze My Sorrow, great new album that came out. God is an Astronaut, Ghost Tapes number 10 is just magnificent, one of the best albums of the year. What else? Nauseam is probably one of the best albums of the year. Keys of Orthanc, another brilliant album. Yeah, so many great albums, just every week, always coming out. But anyway, let's get on to what I've been listening to lately. First of all, now, I spoke about this album a little bit before. It was definitely one of the highest listed albums of last year that came out, and has kept climbing. It would have been even higher up, but it only came out December 18th. So it really didn't have long to sort of bury itself, which is amazing considering how many albums I listen to, or new release albums for each year. And I have to cull it down to a top 100, and then I post my top 100. And this album made it, I think it was number 21 or 22, something like that, in my top 100, and it literally came out a week before I really started finalising my last list. And a few days ago, I finally got a physical copy of it, and I'm very happy. I got it from the fantastic Sadist Records. Nyoman runs a fantastic label, Sadist Records, which really gets a lot of fantastic Indonesian metal out into the world. And I'm talking about the band Sufism. So this is the band I've been going on and on about this band. This is their debut album. They haven't been around that long. They are from Cangkuang, which is a southern suburb of Bandung in Indonesia, in Jawa Barat, West Java. I love this album. It is brutal death metal, there is no doubt about it. But as you can probably tell there by the artwork, they do mix in a lot of traditional Indonesian music and sounds. Certainly some gamelan music. The album is called, I've got to make sure I remember, Republik Rakyat Jelata. Republic of the Common People, which basically that is translated to. And this is magnificent. This was one of the best death metal albums of last year, and I would dare say not many people have ever heard of the band or the album. I love this album to bits. I played it so much before I got the physical copy, and ever since I got the physical copy, about a week ago, I've been playing it ever since. So the band is Sufism, and the album is called Republik Rakyat Jelata, from Bandung, which I call the Metal City. Of all the places I've been around the world, it is certainly one of the most metal cities I've ever been to. The place just lives and breathes heavy metal. There are so many metal bands. To a local gig with just local bands playing, they will easily get 800 to 1,000 payers through the door, no doubt about it. So yeah, and just so many bands coming out of that city that just produce top quality metal. So there we go, Sufism. Next, an old favourite. I really hate the packaging for this album, but this is pretty much the way it come out. I would actually like to get this on record if I see it somewhere, just because I hate the packaging. But this band There are many excellent death metal bands, but this band is if you were to look up consistency in the dictionary, in a picture dictionary, there should be a picture of this band, because this band is ultra consistent. You know you can buy one of their albums day one without hearing one note, and you're gonna absolutely love every minute of it. And I'm talking about the magnificent Immolation. This is one of their later albums. This is the second to last album. Yes, this came out after Majesty and Decay. This is the second to last album. Atonement, that came out a couple of years ago, I think it was now, is just incredible. The Distorting Light is one of the best death metal songs of all time. And I know that's a big statement, but it is. But anyway, this album, Kingdom of Conspiracy, the way this band blends ultra heaviness that really satisfying, not heaviness where it's abrasive, but heaviness that's incredibly satisfying. Not always breakneck speed. It quite often tends to be more of a bit more slowed down, heavy style, steamrolling. But what their skill is they always manage to make the songs kind of catchy and have a hook in them as well. Songs that sort of stay in your mind quite well, and they're not just all out blast and pummeling. Don't get me wrong, there is pummeling, but it's not all about just the pummeling. The songs on here, the title track, Kingdom of Conspiracy, Keep the Silence, God Complex, The Great Sleep. I mean, wow. So if you don't know Immolation, which I'm sure you probably do, any of their albums, you cannot go wrong. The Dawn of Possession is obviously their first album, which a lot of people know very well. Majesty and Decay, this one, just so many. Close to a World Below, brilliant. And this is Kingdom of Conspiracy. I've seen this band live, and I don't use this word, well, no, I don't use this word lightly to describe live bands, and they were flawless. Absolutely magnificent. So Immolation, Kingdom of Conspiracy. This is never too far away from my rotation. From Yonkers, New York. Oh yeah? Now, this band. Now, I can never get any credit for this band. There is only one man that I can give credit for this ridiculously brilliant and underground and obscure album, and that is Aaron the Metal Theologian. If you don't watch his channel, or you've never seen his channel, which I'd be surprised, but if you haven't, please go and check out his channel. He's the channel that you watch that you must have a pen and paper notebook handy next to you, so you can write down the things that you've never heard of before that you need to listen to and probably go out and get. A very, very, very trusted source, probably my most trusted source of stuff that I don't know. And you know, without sounding arrogant, you always think you know as much as you can, and I've been listening to metal for well over 40 years now, and you know, you sort of think, yes, I know all this stuff, and he just continues to blow me away with things that I have to write down and find and listen to, and he has my complete trust, there's no doubt about it. This album, EVM, I know Aaron can pronounce a lot of the song titles and all on this album. I can't. It's from Moscow, Russia. A band that I'm pretty sure was a one-off. I think they had one other album, but this was it. And see there, EVM Group. This is a mixture of pretty much just a straight-up heavy metal album, 1990. And you can look at it two ways. It's a little bit later for the heavy metal sound that you might think of, but there's a couple of songs on here I can hear a little bit of the groove metal sound that would come a lot later on for some other bands in a few of their songs. So bands like Exorder and Prong that had some of that groove metal sound coming into their songs. This band did, and it's around that time, you know. Prong on Beg to Differ, I think, was 1989. Exorder was a little bit after that. Of course, you've got the famous Pantera Cowboys from Hell bringing that in. And this album is fantastic. Let me show you the back. right? Now, I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm not even going to bother. I can speak another couple of languages, but Russian is not one of them. That song there, which is basically track 1 on side B or side 2, is just brilliant. It's one of the best thrash, heavy metal, groove metal songs I've ever heard. I just can't get enough of it. The opening riff on it is just magnificent. There's big money hook riffs all the way through it. Let me show you there. That's the label. So yeah, 1990. And I have all the credit in the world going to Aaron, the metal theologian, for this one. I just can't get enough of it. I wrote it down. I found it on Discogs. Wasn't too bad a price, and I got it sent out. And I cherish this record very much. I've been listening to Kingdom Come a lot. Been doing a little bit of late at nights if I've been up late and not working the next day. I've been doing a little bit of just going down a rabbit hole and watching some old, sort of mid-80s, sort of hard rock, glam metal, heavy metal music videos and just reminiscing and, I remember this song, I remember this video, and, back to when I was sort of, 12 and 13, ending primary school, early high school. So all that music was perfect for me coming out at that time. So I got out my Kingdom Come records. So I've got 2 of them. Now for a long while, it's funny, for a long while, I never had these back in the day. I may have had them on cassette, but I don't think I did. I was very familiar with them. And for a long time, both of these records were quite a big grail for me. And then middle of last year, I found them both on 2 different weekends when I was just out and about. Found them in the wild. So, of course, here's Kingdom Come, the first one. Now, I love, what do we got? Living Out of Touch. I couldn't remember if Living Out of Touch was on this one or the next one. Living Out of Touch. What Love Can Be, it's okay. Get It On, excellent, excellent song. I always think that Lenny Wolf, every now and then, there's certainly some Robert Plant about him, especially on Get It On. Definitely some Robert Plant on him there. Kingdom Come, Polydor. Here we go. 1988. This is my original Australian pressing, 1988. Excellent band from Germany. And I've got the next one as well. In Your Face. Kingdom Come, 1989. And what's this one got? Do You Like It, of course. One of their more heavier rockin' songs. Overrated, which is really good. And Stargazer. I remember when this came out, I think my friend had it on cassette maybe even CD. And I remember us thinking, oh, is that going to be the Stargazer, the cover, the rainbow cover, but it's not. It's completely different. So yeah, brilliant album. 1989. This is an original European press. What was this on? Can't remember the label this is on. Oh, Polydor as well. Yeah. Here we go. So yeah, I've been listening to quite a bit of Kingdom Come. Been listening to some Winger lately as well. Just once you start down that rabbit hole and you start reminiscing. Been listening to a lot of Heart too. I mean, I always listen to the 70s Heart, but I've been listening to quite a bit of 80s Heart. Listening to that great song that Heart did with Lane Staley. Oh man, hearing his voice, rest in peace, Lane, because amazing voice, and hearing him sing that Bob Dylan song with Anne and Nancy Wilson. What's it called? Ring Them Bells. If you've never heard of it, look it up on YouTube and listen to it, because Lane really shows how good his voice is. But anyway, Kingdom Come, In Your Face. Brilliant. Brilliant stuff. Now, I should have said in the opening title, not just all metal. I've been listening to a little bit of hip-hop, and I've got a soundtrack too that I dug out that I haven't been listening to for a while. So, been listening to this fabulous album. Certainly one of my favourite hip-hop albums of all time. I sort of have, there's like I would say a top 6 that really are in the upper echelon. I wouldn't say I've got a huge hip-hop collection, but fairly decent. I'm a pretty big fan. I'm certainly not an expert, but I'm certainly a fan. You know, I think of it like John Cleese once said, you know, I may not know art, but I know what I like, sort of thing. So yeah, but I love this. Mos Def, Black on Both Sides. Of course, this was his debut album out on his own after Black Star, or different to Black Star. New World Water, I think, is one of the best hip-hop songs of all time. You've got the song on here, hip-hop as well. Umi Says, and Rock and Roll. Rock and Roll's got a really catchy chorus to it, and yeah, Umi Says is quite sort of chilled out and slow and jazzy and really good. Just a magnificent album. I love this, and as you'll see as I keep going on with videos, you'll see what hip-hop albums come out. I'm not going to do a major hip-hop talk because I don't feel like I'm enough of an expert to give a proper, well, not a proper opinion. Your opinion is always proper, but to give expertise. But I certainly do have my favourites. I would say I would have around maybe 50 to 60 hip-hop albums, so not a big collection at all, but you know, certainly late 80s and mid 90s into the late 90s, I loved it a lot. There was a couple of hip-hop clubs I used to go to, underground hip-hop clubs in the mid 90s. But yeah, Mos Def, Black on Both Sides, love this so much. And another hip-hop album I've been listening to lately is this beauty, Gangstar, Step in the Arena. Or is it? Yeah, Step in the Arena. Sometimes I forget if it's Step into the Arena or Step in the Arena. Of course, you got the fantastic title track. Just, oh, my word, it is so good. Precisely the right rhymes, beyond comprehension. Check the technique. Who's going to take the weight? Brilliant. Of course, rest in peace, Guru. When did he pass away? Was it 2010? I think it was. Originally from Boston, of course, and then they moved to Brooklyn. I love this. There's a few other albums of theirs that I absolutely love. That sort of, this whole era, there's about 3 or 4 of them around this time that I absolutely adore. But this is my favourite, also in my top, yeah, I'd say probably like the top 6 or 7. I can't really separate them. Oh, maybe I can, but maybe in the top 6 or 7 hip-hop albums of all time. If you've never heard of Gangstar and this album, check it out. Definitely. So good. Right. Well, I'll tell you, I've got it sitting just in the rack. That's certainly up there as one of my favourite hip-hop albums of all time. No doubt about it. Love this. I love this record very much. Right. Band from Australia. Certainly like to include a band from Australia in my videos. And this is a band from Adelaide in South Australia, Ruse. Fantastic band. Best way to describe them all up, I'd say, is progressive metal. But in that, there is bits of mostly death metal and thrash metal, a little bit of blackened throughout at times, but all wrapped up into the envelope of progressive metal. 2 albums, Seasons of Triumph, which came after this, and this one, The Valley Beyond. I only just said Valley Beyond, but The Valley Beyond. This is a 2016 album. From memory, yeah, 2016. Brilliant band. Love this. Yeah, I've got both of their albums that they've put out so far. So yeah, fantastic stuff. Ruse from Adelaide, Australia. Love them to bits. Oh, what we got next? Now, Ron Haggerty. I know he likes this sort of stuff. He likes the slow, brooding, heavy, big soundscapes, atmospheric, sort of somber type things. And I've been meaning to show him this album, and all of you as well. This was one of my favourite albums of 2019. It got pretty close to winning my favourite album of 2019, and that is Maestas. And I'm not sure how you pronounce this, Delaquesh, I think it's pronounced. is the album title, Delaquesh. They're from Portland, Oregon. Doom metal, but close to funeral doom, but not quite. A little bit of black sound, but not your traditional black metal sound. Mainly in just its dark and its heaviness. So it's kind of death doom, but not. Kind of funeral doom, but not. And kind of blackened funeral doom, but not. It's quite a beautiful album. That's kind of hard to believe, considering that I've just described it as so heavy and somber. But you get these big, wonderful soundscapes. It's only 4 songs. You see there, it's only 4 songs. So it's one of those albums that's pure escapism. You put it on and you just let this album take you and you just drift. It is somber, so you can feel quite emotional, I find, when you're listening to this album. It sort of comes on to you a little bit like that, but in a beautiful sort of way. It's not like, oh, you know, the world's closing in and coming to an end. It's just more, yeah, it just, I don't know, it's just an emotional album, but beautiful and very atmospheric. So Ron Haggerty, if you've never heard this album, I believe you can get it on record. I'm pretty sure you can. I strongly suggest you check this out, and everyone else, of course. That's Ron Haggerty, Ron Haggerty's Vinyl Sanctuary. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. But this album, I can't rate highly enough. It is just absolutely beautiful. All right, going from beautiful, let's go for something that I've been listening to as well, which is all out pure aggression and chaos. This band is from Edmonton, Canada, and they fall into the category of war metal. So if you don't know war metal, bands like Dayglo from the Philippines, you've got Nuclear Hammer, you've got Heresiarch from New Zealand, you've got Diocletian, there's another band called Blasphemy, Archgoat, Impiety from Singapore, who's got the wonderful, I'm spacey now, I've forgotten now, I was all ready to go. Wonderful drummer from Australia. I've lost it, but yeah, I'll put it in the description anyway. I've lost it. Impiety from Singapore, another war metal band, brilliant. I like war metal. When it's done right, it's done really right. And the band I'm talking about is the band Revenge, and I love this. I absolutely love this. I like pretty much everything they've done. So this is called Behold Total Rejection, and all their albums have that the 3 words with the dots there. Every single album has the title similar to that. This is the sort of album you really do want to listen with all the lights turned on, and you don't want any open dairy containers nearby either, because it might turn them sour. This is pure chaos and aggression, just all out aggression. If you don't know war metal, it's kind of a mix between death metal and black metal. Very aggressive sound, usually reasonably fast, not always, but usually reasonably fast and heavy. Just so good, so good. Such a brilliant album. Yeah, and most of their albums have this sort of look about them as well. So when was this? This was 2015. Next, so Aaron Mutha Alamere, who is a great channel and I watch a lot, he was talking about the band Watchtower, and an album that he showed was Energetic Assembly, And there's a man in that band called Ron Jarzombek who has been in quite a few bands. I make a rule if there's any Jarzombek brother on any album I listen to, because of course Bobby was in quite a lot of the Riot albums as well. And so the connection between Watchtower is why I pulled out this album. So this is for you, Aaron Mutha Elamir. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. So this is the band that he was also in. This is one of his main bands called Blotted Science. They're a progressive metal band, instrumental, really good stuff. Also features Alex Webster from Cannibal Corpse and Hans Grossman, who's been the drummer on every second death metal, technical death metal band you can think of. Brilliant. They also have another album called Machinations of Dementia. And yeah, so Blotted Science. Absolutely, check out that. Really, really good. This is a 2011 album. It's basically an EP. Machinations of Dementia was a full-length album, and that's pretty much all they've done as far as this goes. So there's that link there, Aaron, that I was telling you about in one of my comments to you. Now, this one links to that also, but it also links back to Aaron, the Metal Theologian, as well. See, the guy, I tell you, yeah, awesome recommendations. Anyway, so Mike Solis, Aaron Mutha Elamir, Mike Solis, who was a vocalist for Watchtower, but not on the albums as far as I remember. He was a vocalist for them after their 2 studio full-length albums. He was also the vocalist on this, the fantastic Oblivion Night. Absolutely fantastic. Once again, another pure blind recommendation to me from Aaron the Metal Theologian, and it's just a magnificent album, so good. So what this is a compilation of demos that they recorded in 1987 and demos that they recorded in 1990, and then this was initially released in 2009. I got this only just last year after seeing it on Aaron's channel on the wonderful, I'll show the other side there because it's better to see that label there on the Steel Legacy there, beautiful. And this one, when it came out, there was 2 different runs, I think. I don't know if the first one was numbered or not. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure there was 2 different runs. But this one, as you can see here, is numbered only 500, and you can see the number there. So I was pretty happy to get that. Heavy metal, pretty much straight up heavy metal, ton of gallop, you know, a little bit of new wave of British heavy metal sound, with a bit of an American style to it, if you know what I mean. And I mean, look at that. That's what drew me. Yes, Aaron raving about it, Aaron the Metal Theologian. Talking about 2 Aarons today, so we can't get confused, but Aaron the Metal Theologian. Him talking about it, but also that cover. I mean, so good, right? And last of all, I promised a soundtrack, and I don't know why. Yeah, I just pulled this out. I got this at the time when the movie came out. The Top Gun soundtrack, how about that? Tom looks exactly the same there as he does now, doesn't he? Pretty much. Of course, Kelly McGillis there, draping over his shoulder. Remember all these Danger Zone Kenny Loggins? Remember when Kenny Loggins, it seemed like Kenny Loggins did every main single release from a movie soundtrack? What else was really? Mighty Wings, Cheap Trick, very, very good song. I like that. Yeah, Take My Breath Away. Probably never need to hear that again. Of course, Harold Faltermeyer did the Top Gun anthem. Of course, he did the famous Axel F song from Beverly Hills Cop. Hot Summer Nights, the Miami Sound Machine, Playing with the Boys, another Kenny Loggins song on here. Lead Me On, Destination Unknown, and Through the Fire. This is my 1986 original Australian pressing. As I say, I bought this when it came out. I was 12 when Top Gun came out, so I went and saw this at the movies about 3 or 4 times, I think. So yeah, great record. Still like to play it every now and then. Really good record. Show the label. There we go, on CBS. Yeah. So there we go. That's pretty much all I had to talk about today. I know it's probably gone on a bit long, but as I say, I love talking about music, and when I get going and talking about music, I really enjoy it, and I like to share my passion with you all. So hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you find something or see something that you haven't maybe seen before. If you have, or you've got it, it might give you a little bit of a inspiration to listen to it again or take it off the rack. But I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you all very soon. Thank you heaps.